All right, welcome into New Arenas episode 5. We're going to do things a little bit differently today because we are recording the same day that the announcements were made, if you will, the selections were made, the roses were given out. We've been using that Bachelor analogy here and there. So we're going to get a little bit into the program, and we're going to be talking with Dave Cedrone, who is right here with us, and we'll be doing that in just a second. But first, I guess, Ryan, if you want to start and update people on the festivities and how everything went today.
I couldn't be happier. It's phenomenal. You can also see it's still a sunny day here in Portugal. Look, some technical issues, but we got through it. I think it was something so unique, so different, something the world hasn't seen before. I mean, 12 companies from around the world, 12 amazing companies, literally spent time to pick these 5, 7, 8, I won't call them startups, 8 sport tech companies, because we have mature companies in this, one of which is Pronto. I don't think they would call themselves a startup. Depends on how you measure it. But the likes of those guys, Pump Jack, there's a lot of big companies in this. And it was phenomenal. Going into it, the biggest risk that we feared and biggest risk that the Hype guys told me when I laid out this mass idea of something crazy, they said, what if all the partners just pick the same 3 startups? Then we only have a cohort of 3. I said, look, it's not going to happen. But I said, if it does happen, just tell me I was crazy and I failed. But you then we have 3 great companies, and we have deals with all 3, and hopefully we still make money off all 3. But we ran that risk, and it turns out that to be honest, I haven't run the full numbers. I think it's something like 20 of the 25 made the program.
Wow!
And I was getting this stuff live. It was coming up to the last minute. We had LESC, Jamie, with Golden State Warriors messaging us, take this one out, add this one, blah, blah, blah. It was all real time. And one of our stars we're going to hear from today, one of the big winners, was a company called Pronto. So Dave Cedrone, why don't you just give us one sentence on what Pronto does, and then we'll dive into the process and what you thought of it.
Yeah, sure. So Dave Cedrone, I run sales and client success, and my co-founder is Conrad Kaplan. He's the co-founder and CEO of the company. So we are a low friction, no integration necessary mobile wallet pass solution. So contactless ticketing, loyalty, contesting, promotions. It's a really great inventory channel to fulfill partnership obligations and things like that. Yeah, I'll stop there.
No, fantastic. So I feel like I know a lot of the sports tech industry. I did not know Pronto 86 days ago. I met Conrad when we talked on the phone. He started talking about certain things he's doing. We'll get into some of those programs, but we also connect in the fact that he's from Belgium. He's from Leuven. I actually did a master's in Leuven, and we had the Belgian Federation. And when I tried to convince Conrad why to join this program, I mean, he had some hesitations of, do I need an accelerator? We're beyond an accelerator. We have big clients. We have Ascot. We have the American Outlaws. We're doing this. And I was like, look, this is something that can help you scale. This is something that can help you go international. And this is something you can do. What were your conversations, Dave? Since you and I actually didn't meet until you came into the sessions last week. How did Conrad explain this to you? And tell us about your history in joining Pronto. I know you weren't there from the beginning. You have a significant sports tech background. So kind of lead us up for that, and then we'll talk about what did Conrad say to you about this program?
Yeah, for sure. So I've been an advisor to the company since the early days. And I think, what we're most excited about here is the ability to kind of start to get, I mean, the word accelerator is on point, right? It's a way to step on the gas and leverage this compelling moment that we're all living in right now. There was already kind of that sort of white heat feeling in this contactless space, especially. But I think also it's a moment in time where we're realizing that the prospect of having fans at home, depending on the league or club, when they're going to be coming back, they have this problem of how do we keep people engaged at home? And then we have this other problem of, we've got partners who we signed up last year, a while ago, and we've got to fulfill on those agreements. And all of a sudden the inventory problem that they always had, which was, you run out of physical space in a venue and you run out of trash cans to slap a logo on. what do you do, and how do you make it exciting and trustworthy and native, which is a big piece of what our platform does. Is it's really a trusted native, no app required, no integration required kind of experience to deliver partner messaging, your own messaging. And then longer term, when you are back in venue, everybody, of course, is trying to figure out what are we going to do to make this a totally touch-free, frictionless, contactless experience. Well, you can actually use the exact same platform to deliver all of that. We're already partnered with Apple and Google and have deep integrations with them and have for years. And I think just in terms of like our interest in the accelerator was primarily getting more exposure across not only a number of clubs, but across leagues, into governing bodies, and then international. There's quite frankly nothing about our platform that prevents us from working internationally, which is really nice. And so to be able to do that kind of as quickly as possible, and it's been enormously helpful already to that end.
So you're an expert in sports tech in a way. You've been with other companies. Maybe you can tell about other things you've been with, but this is different from a regular accelerator. Like I actually don't like calling it an accelerator. I know you said it, we're accelerating, but you guys wouldn't have joined an accelerator, right? I mean, maybe explain that a little bit and kind of what your thoughts of this in a way.
Yeah. I think the uniqueness here of you recognizing that the thing that brings these clubs and leagues together, yes, is a common moment right around the U.S. or around the world with COVID, but also at the same time there's collisions of mobile is obviously skyrocketing. There's a lot of different things kind of happening all at the same time, and we're also competing now with eyeballs who can choose to go to any channel on their phone, whether it's entertainment or sports or work or who knows what. So I think that component, and then the other one is the sort of real world orientation of talking immediately about pilots and working with these folks is a massive prospect. This isn't just a whiteboard session. The idea here is that we come out of this with pilots and with relationships established. That's hugely attractive. And I know from prior work in this space that people want to know what's your story, what outcome do you drive. If they have to hear another pitch involving yet another buzzword, they're too busy for that. So they want to know what on the ground outcome do you drive, and it better be related to fulfilling or renewing or retaining partnerships, or helping them sell or retain season ticket opportunities, or cross sell into other products. All these new technologies that are coming out are very exciting, but at the end of the day, every customer or client is going to say, I have to justify this to the CFO at some point. So we felt as though this was very much oriented toward that kind of spirit. And so we're excited about it.
Just to summarize, unique value prop that, in my opinion, has never been done before.
Yeah, for sure. Agreed.
So let me ask you then, Dave, because you mentioned that, having the interactions with all these different teams. Who are the teams that actually picked you?
Oh yeah. Let me make sure that I don't miss any here. So we were, that's a nice problem to have, I guess, right? We were crossing our fingers to get one. I'll say, I guess we had interest in a number, probably, all of them for one reason or another, but there was quite a few that made our top list. The ones that we felt in the nearest term were kind of priority for us, I would say, the Miami Dolphins, Kim over there, CIO, I believe, Jamie at the New York Islanders. The Islanders were actually a previous client of mine, so I have pretty intimate knowledge of the kinds of business outcomes and the culture of that organization as well. So I was really hoping to get a chance to work with them again. And Manu from Royal Belgium Football Club. And then, and we've got all kinds of ideas that we had already been brainstorming, partly because our co-founder Conrad is from Belgium originally, so we've got a bunch of stuff we were already.
He's a member of their support team worldwide, their fan base.
Yeah, for the 1895 club, and so we're excited about that. And then got selected, honored to be selected by Paris Saint-Germain, Matthew over there. And then Makar, am I pronouncing that right?
Makar Reed, yep, Makar.
Makar. from Tennis Australia, which is personally really exciting as well because I worked with Wimbledon for a number of years as well. So again, just kind of having some understanding of that world. And I think these are just critical relationships that help us then tell the outcome story that I think is vital to those clubs, governing bodies, and then a nice cross section as well of international. I think that's like five countries across the board. So it's been super helpful to
it is actually.
bring us to the table.
Just to recap, you got Tennis Australia down in Melbourne.
Yep.
You got the New York Islanders in New York City, my home. You got the Belgian Federation in Belgium. You got Paris Saint-Germain in France. And you got Miami Dolphins in the NFL. So that's 5 countries and 4 sports. For me, that's called scalability. If you can land off all those, that's phenomenal. Now it's up to you. Now the journey begins of spending significant time with them over the next couple of weeks explaining Pronto.
Yeah, and we will. There's no question in my mind. It'll be 100% success on all of these. It's just a matter of how much they can and want to leverage the full breadth of the platform out of the gate. Some people may just have a little bit of, for a variety of reasons, we may need to go kind of lighter, lightweight, no integration work out of the gate. And then others may be, rolling out full contactless programs, and we could support them through all of that with a whole bunch of integrations we have. And so super excited about it.
Well, and to understand, by the way, so when it comes to Pronto and what you guys do, the accessibility of all the different things is obviously really involved, right? Like, because I was going through the website a bit, and I'm trying to understand it just as a fan going to a game, what it's going to be like for me. And it looks like you can do things with public transit and parking on the way in. It's the ticket, it's buying the food. So it can be basically every element of the fan experience at the stadium, right?
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because we, by design, we're trying to make sure that we kind of hammer home this short-term, low friction, lightweight deployment that we can do because we think it's so urgent and it's of the moment. And we think that it can be tied to measurable, demonstrable business outcomes immediately in a matter of days. Longer term, which is exactly what you're describing, we're also, integrated with and have done work across all of those things that you just described. So in a perfect world, a fan ought to be able to, purchase a ticket or even, kind of do some sort of online activation if there's no game, being, on right now or no venue to walk into. They should, become a net new fan into the database or leverage some existing channel and get this mobile pass wallet that we have, which can now kind of live with them through a variety of experiences. So to your point, it could be, contactless access so that you've got super fast lane speed into the venue. It could be also integrated with a number of other players within this, sorry, Ryan, but within this accelerator, right? This could be a channel to push folks out into these other experiences as well. And then ultimately, something that we can help drive people to partners over time. So if you've got local bar, restaurant, fast casual, entertainment, things happening in your city that the team, the rights holder is involved in some way, this pass can be a mechanism to push fans to those partners right now while everybody's at home. And then longer term, yes, paying for food and bev on your smartwatch or on your phone, getting access. You walk into the venue, there's a Chevy truck and a promotion of some kind. You ought to be able to tap into that promotion very quickly and easily, all through the exact same technology and one clean, validated data feed on the back end. Keep that in mind. The data that we're capturing when they enroll into the program is the actual contact data that sits on your phone. This is not, sort of half-assed data that goes through Facebook or, some clipboard or something. This is the actual contact info that exists on your phone.
Wow. It's
crazy. Can you make that, let's just dumb it down for the average fan. What does this mean to them?
I think ultimately it should mean super easy I know we in this kind of space and more generally we use the word frictionless a lot. What all we mean by that is the technology should recede into the background and get out of your way, and you should be able to get in quicker, get through lines quicker for purchasing things. If you're at home right now, you should be able to kind of get into the environment that you're looking to access a lot quicker. You should be able to be in touch with the organization that you're a fan of. So dynamically updating, match results, getting contact information, obviously very simple things on the back of the pass itself. By the way, for anybody that's not already familiar with them, it's really the same kind of pass as you're already used to if you've used a mobile pass to board a flight at the airport. So you're getting on JetBlue or United Airlines or something, and you get that add to wallet button in your email. That's what this really is. What most people are not aware of is just how powerful that underlying infrastructure is. It's nearly, if not more powerful than an app, and it just doesn't require that you download an app at all. So you've got all this interaction. If you're building loyalty points through a program of some kind, those points can automatically update. It supports QR codes as well. So you could theoretically be in local sub shop in your city that is a partner or doing a partnership with the team, and scan a QR code to get a discount off or something as long as you've got your pass. There's really unlimited number of ways that you could leverage the technology, but ultimately it's about making experiences super fast and easy. And selfishly for the clubs, it's about finding ways to activate people, surprise and delight them, get them engaged for the partners, so that it's a little bit easier for you to spend some money, right? And buy some food and bev and buy merch. And then for the partners, it's also to interact with you in some way, so that if you're somebody who's in the consideration process of thinking about buying a Toyota truck or something, there may be an interaction that suggests that you're interested in that and that you're in that world, right? Well, Toyota, the partner, really wants to know that. And we can help facilitate and bridge that gap between the team and partner. And of course, with fans' permission, make data available to the end partners. So that's where I think the sort of 7 and 8 figure business outcomes are. That's where they really reside, is primarily in those partnership relationships.
Gotcha. Because one of the things that's so cool about this too, like we had Jamie from the Islanders on, I guess it was last episode, and she was talking a little bit about what they're doing with the new stadium. And it's not just the idea that it's the stadium and they're going to have all these great features in there, but it's a whole complex now. So you're going to have like a shopping center nearby and a hotel that's connected to the team and all that different stuff. So it's going to be, as everything's growing, your app or your program, I guess, I don't know what the proper way to call it, but whatever. So Pronto, I'll just say that. So Pronto is going to be one of those things that makes sense as things continue to grow and the stadium landscape changes then.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's again, this hinges a little bit upon what technology is deployed in terms of hardware and what their choices are in terms of the longer term approach that we can deploy. And I want to make it really clear that that's all built on our side. We can provide this today. It's just that I want to clearly delineate between the things that we can do that are lightweight and low friction versus the more mature installs. But you could have a world where you have a stadium with surrounding retail and surrounding partners, and you either have common terminal hardware, meaning the things that you pay and scan, in a retail establishment, could either be the same, or we could tie things together so that you could have a seamless experience where your fan or your membership or your loyalty pass goes to work for you when you're in that area. So whether you're at the bar, the merch shop, a coffee shop during the day, because a lot of these new venues, this is intended to be, a small town square. So the idea that you could see benefit by being a fan, or quite frankly, throughout the city. We've all seen, the city passes that you can get when you're going to be in town for 4 or 5 days. And, they'll say, hey, it really makes a lot of sense to buy the city pass and get the access to the museum and everything else. This is the type of underlying technology that could make that all possible on a phone or a watch. And, and then, by the way, all of those different partners now share in that extremely valuable data set. all of that location data, things like that as well.
Yeah.
So Dave, before we kind of conclude here, I know you have two pretty big clients and two different paths. Why don't you talk about the briefly the Ascot, and then explain what the American Outlaws are?
Yeah, sure. So let me pull up a couple of my notes here so I make sure that I don't miss out on anything. So we're working with Royal Ascot, which, massive race course outside of London, and typically, outside of obviously what we're dealing with COVID here, would normally have about 300,000 fans in venue over the course of 5 days or so. What we're doing
real quick, this is double or triple the size of Kentucky Derby, just for a quantum for the American listeners out there. How much
That's
bigger?
A good question. You got me on that trivia. I don't know exactly how much bigger, but yeah, massive.
Okay. I know it is bigger. I know that.
Yeah, and massively historic, obviously. So, a huge brand to protect, and very.
The Queen's always there. The whole entire British royalty is at the Ascot.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah. So this part of, we're doing ticketing with them, but also what's really exciting right now is pushing this pass opportunity out to about 200,000 fans in the database. So what happens? I know I'm not showing this on screen right now, but the first thing the fan will see is an enter to win pass, basically in this mobile pass experience. And if their pass turns gold, which we can do dynamically remotely, turn the actual pass itself on the phone gold. It's called the golden ticket promotion. So if your
pass on your phone will turn from one color to another and says, yep, you've won today. Come on the inside ring of the course or the track, whatever. You get to meet the Queen and have tea with the Queen.
Yeah, exactly. So in this particular case, there's going to be 10 winners a day across 5 days, and then partners like Longines watches, some other big name partners.
Longines watch as well.
What's that?
Can you win a free watch?
I don't know exactly what they're giving away. I'm not sure if it's been.
I'm just joking.
In fact, I don't know.
I'm not sure if I'd want the tea or the watch, but it's all good.
Right. So they'll all be announced each day, and so it's just one more example of. It's not just one mobile pass that lives. You can actually make multiple versions of passes if you want to. You could have partner specific passes. You could have passes that automatically expire at some point.
This pass is literally a membership card. This is my Delta Platinum card that I keep in my wallet that's now on my phone. And this is my pass to loyalty to I'm this, and I'm getting certain credits and certain things, pretty much. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Not all that indifferent from the old school punch pass that you'd get at the coffee shop, just that, completely turbocharged and amplified and leveraging obviously the capabilities of the internet, right? Because no different than in Vince, you're not all that wrong to refer to it as an app. I mean, at the end of the day, it's built on app-like infrastructure. It does the same kinds of things. The main difference is this is leveraging part of the core native channel of the phone, which is nice because people tend to, it's not giving notifications as often as an app would. They may be more likely to leave these notifications in place. It exists over in the pass infrastructure as opposed to lost amongst the 500 or 600 apps you've got floating around on your phone. And the idea is, and what we coach our clients on as well, is be mindful of how you use this communication channel, right? I mean, the more mindful you are about how you use it and for what types of promotions and things like that, and which segments of your audience you specifically push certain functionality to, because it doesn't need to go to everybody, the more likely you are to get, really good engagement rates on those kinds of things. But the ability to not only collect net new data into the database via enrolling a net new fan, but also to collect and acquire essentially net new, and this is getting into a nerdier aspect of this, but net new columns of data, right? So what I heard a lot when I was working with Brooklyn Sports and Entertainment, when the Islanders were still involved there, a lot of what we were talking about was, hey, we've got, a rich database of folks. We have first name, last name, we've got email. but these phone numbers aren't working. We keep calling all these people and we're getting deadlines, and that stuff tends to go in and out of date. So it's always very difficult to kind of refresh that data asset. So this is a great way to capture validated data directly off the phone. If you move, if you change your phone number, this type of thing, while it doesn't always update automatically, these are the kinds of things that a person would update on their own native device. So we're really trying to leverage that one trusted native channel that sits on the phone, that's already there amongst people's Starbucks pass and their JetBlue pass.
To summarize, Dave, you guys play behind the scenes. You're going to enhance the fan experience. The average fan's just going to have this great experience, but you do all this underlying technology that's underneath that's enabling all this. Is that kind of a good summary?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think it's a layer that works really, really well with hardware, software, pretty much any other vendor that you're working with. There's probably a way that we can either be, pushing folks to those other promotions and initiatives or receiving data from them. I think that's an important note as well. Is this is like a lot of folks are kind of architecting solutions nowadays, built on a really flexible, interoperable, extensible underlying API, right? So it's the whole point in plain English is that it should play nice with other things.
Dave, are you in DC as well, or I know Conrad's in DC. Are you in DC?
Yeah, he's in DC. I'm in Austin, Texas.
You're in Texas. Okay. So
Yep.
let me just restate this. You're in Texas, enhancing a product for the Queen of England at the horse race.
Yeah, of course. Why not?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So,
it's indeed a small world nowadays. If that wasn't made abundantly clear over the past few months, I guess, right? It feels even smaller than ever. But I think if there are any silver linings to come out of some of these recent events, things like having a compelling moment and a forcing function for technologies like this that, for whatever reason, the U.S. was unusually slow in previous years to adopt things like contactless technology, right? So you go talk to 10 friends right now and ask them how many have paid with Apple Pay or even set it up properly on their phone, or maybe they've set it up and they haven't used it yet. It's still a relatively high percentage. This last quarter alone, there was a 40% increase in the U.S. population leveraging contactless payment. It's at, I think, around 51% of the U.S. has now at least used it in some way. There's still a lot of room to grow there. But it's going to grow rapidly, and there's going to be not only an expectation, but a real demand from the part of the fan and the consumer. If they don't see this stuff available in venue, and some of you may have had this experience already, you go to your local grocery store, local coffee shop, and they even sometimes have the technology. So you pull your phone out and you hold it up to tap and nothing happens because they haven't actually integrated anything yet. And it can be a really frustrating experience as a customer to have your mask on, have your sanitizer in your pocket. Now all of a sudden you need to touch a whole bunch of buttons. And you may actually end up making decisions with your wallet about where you want to go or where you don't want to go based on whether or not you can have a contactless experience. So it's definitely a moment, I think, for the technology for sure.
Okay. Well, Dave, Vince, anything else on your side for?
No, I think we've covered a lot of ground here, and it's just been really interesting to hear about it.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. We're super excited.
Give us one parting comment, Dave, on just the overall program and the thoughts. Just a quick, 30 seconds.
This has been awesome and smooth. I don't know how you do it, Ryan. There must be a lot going on for your whole team, but we really, really appreciate the kind of timely communication. We're completely empathetic that there's a lot to pull together on something like this. And I think it's been clear, easy to join, thankful for all these remote technologies and all that sort of thing. So there's a really cool community building here. And for anybody else kind of considering this sort of thing in the future, I can definitely endorse it right now. I think it's, and I would have, by the way, said the same thing had we not been chosen. I still think, it was a fair shot for everybody. And I hope for anybody that didn't make it through on this round, that they give it another whirl. With the future.
I will just say something more from my perspective, because I still think it's phenomenal. I created this whole thing in 85 days.
Yeah.
the whole entire concept from start to finish. Not obviously Hype, massive accelerators, and they've been great at it. When they called me and they said, let's do something different. And they originally wanted to do a soccer version because I have a sport alliance focused on soccer.
Yep.
And unfortunately, the main club, it was underwater with Corona, so to say, and they just couldn't agree to promote this within the alliance. And when Hype told me, they said, Ryan, when they called me, I landed in Portugal, and they said, Ryan, we want to do this with your alliance, and we want to pay you. That's my eyeball, because all my other startups I work with all canceled my contracts that week, so I had no revenue coming in. And Hype said, we'll pay you. And then when the group said, "Oh, we can't do it right now," I told Amir, "Give me the weekend. I'm gonna come back with something." Nice. And I literally slept on the weekend. I came back and I said, "Look, that Football Alliance, they're good clubs, this and that, but let's go bigger. Let's go to the biggest clubs in the world. Let's go to the Golden State Warriors. Let's go to LAFC, who is a member of the Alliance." And then from there, I spent time with Daniel and Christian on the weekend. Had to twist their arms, I'll give you that. I mean, initially they were hesitant, but I pretty much told them I was going to starve here in Portugal. If you don't help me, I'm stuck and I might die. And they said, Ryan, if you're going to survive, we're in. And then using their two brands to call everyone else. And what I put together, I'm still so thrilled by it. And awesome. It's all come to fruition today. I work with other accelerators and they spend 2 years to organize something. And there's one in Australia that I deal with. There's one in Philadelphia that I've been talking to for 6 months about, they wanted me to help them. They're not even off the ground, and they've been saying years and years of this stuff. What we just did was kick ass and fast, rapid that we need to do today.
Yeah, and
I love your on the call today. You just get right to the point. We're going to do it fast. We're going to be in. We're going to get done, and I absolutely love that.
Yeah, I hope that spirit continues, right? Like we're all kind of finding new ways to work, and I think it's going to be humanity's just going to move pretty quick now, and it can be hard and stressful. I hope you personally get some time to get out on that beach there behind you in the sun.
Don't worry, just down there is the beach. I'm going to be there all day. Maybe all day tomorrow, for all I know. We'll see.
Nice. Well, I'm heading to the beach myself, so. Well, thank you guys. This has been a blast, and thanks to everybody for watching.
Good talking. We won't hang up. We'll keep talking with Dave. Appreciate it. You can drop. Thank you, Pronto. Congratulations. Best of luck, and we'll be talking moving forward.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Vince.
All right, well, that's our interview with Dave. And Ryan, I think everything's going pretty smoothly so far, my friend, in terms of the guests and the show. Like everything, you're putting on quite the production, my friend. Yeah, it's been a long day here in Portugal. I think I'm turning yellow on the screen. Well, the sun's finally setting over there again, once in a while for a couple of minutes. 10:28 p.m. What do you think of today, Vince? I know you logged in to watch the selection show. Was it as good as Selection Sunday on TBS? Well, it was better. It was better. I'm never going to watch Selection Sunday again. I'm only going to I will watch replays of what you did instead of Selection Sunday. That's how it's going to go. It was the best thing I've ever seen. No, but on a serious note, just thinking of like because you're getting all these teams from around the globe, and you're getting all these people with the different companies, and to get them all in a functioning video call to be able to bounce from one to the other and be putting up, all right, here's the one group, and here's the programs that are the teams or companies that they're selecting, and just it's a hell of a production to do in a short amount of time. And obviously, I know that as much as you had to organize all of that and do that in such a short amount of time, we've also been putting this show together too, which has been covering it. So like you're doing all of these different angles of everything, and just to see the whole production as somebody who has done some degree of video production as well as the radio production, I get what you're doing, and that's a lot of things to balance. The NFL had a hard time doing that with the NFL draft, for example. So to get different representatives and have it as clean feed and all that. So honestly, I think you handled it really well. I think it was smooth. Fantastic. I appreciate that. So to recap, we had episode 1 with Amir. We had episode 2. We had Nick. Pump Jack Data Works. Pump Jack Data Works, Hear Me Cheer, and Vichy Sport. Yep. Coincidentally enough, Vichy and Hear Me Sport were the 2 biggest winners today. And then in episode 3, we had FanWag Crowd Comply with FanWag, which was a nice winner today. And the third one, Sports Me, which was another winner. Obviously, we just heard from Pronto right now, which was a standout winner.
tomorrow we're going to have three more. Really, I don't want to call them surprising, but some great winners. So we have B-Box Sports from Portugal. We have Bleacher from the U.S., Bleacher/Tennis One/Crowd Live. And then the third one we have tomorrow is Handy, which was a giant winner today. And come on, an IoT sanitizing solution that's a tower that's branded to your sponsors, runs on a lithium battery that's going to be at the link saying Eagles. Vince, you're probably going to buy one for your home. So everyone comes to your house, they're going to be sanitizing on Eagles hand sanitizer. Well, I'm going to buy one in Portugal here. I'm going to make it Sixers, Phillies, Flyers, and I'll throw in the Union instead of the Eagles. Maybe I'll put the Eagles. Who knows?
Yeah,
they can do anything. And I'm excited for this.
You're going to start bathing in hand sanitizer is what it sounds like.
We're going to talk hand sanitizing solution tomorrow to the next level. Excuse my French, but I don't give a
There we go.
So that's the end. Let's move on. Let's close this down. That's going to be it for the next rest. Wait. No, there's one more just popped in my head.
Yeah.
At the end of the week, we have a special guest. We have a special guest at the end of the week.
Certainly do.
So Robo Point Guard, Vince, a robot that gives you bounce passes. It gives you a chest pass, a bounce pass, catches the ball at the basket, and passes back to you. You know what the best part of this point guard is?
What?
It never shoots. So it's literally the Ben Simmons Robo Point Guard.
Oh, the jab. The jab hurts.
It is a phenomenal product. FIBA selected them today, and on their board is none other than Jerome the Dog Williams. And
yes.
NBA celebrity Jerome Williams will be on this show later this week with Bill Kralik from Robo Point Guard talking about how FIBA, the big three with Jerome and other institutions, other people are going to take Robo Point Guard to the next level.
Yeah, so it's going to be great. We got a lot of stuff going on this week, and you've been a busy man, so I'm going to let you actually just sit back and relax now because I figure you've been running around all day. So that's Ryan McCumber. I'm Vince Quinn. This is New Arenas. Make sure to like and subscribe to the show, whether it's YouTube, podcast, we're on Apple Podcasts, however you're listening, watching, whatever. We need the subscribers, baby. Hit us up. And with that, we are presented by Fist, and we'll talk to you soon.